Hello, spilled milkers. Hold on, I'm just getting comfortable here. How is everybody? Sorry for the delay. This is supposed to come out Friday. Real life just sort of prepped in there. Without further ado, here's our Ask Me Anything. Great questions this week. I love this. This is literally the favorite part of my week. Seal coating is life. Chimed in and said, what's your favorite dish that you can't make? Well, that's a really, really easy and tricky question, both at the same time. Generically, there are recipes like Peking duck or veal Prince Orloff, which is a stuffed veal breast with sous vide and all kinds of stuff, or croquembouche, that wonderful tower of pâté choux. These are really, really, really tough dishes, terrines and things like that, I know how to make. Although there are some specific things that I completely suck at because of the time and precision. Well, I should say the precision required, because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to food. If I'm making scrambled eggs, I want them to be perfect scrambled eggs. If I'm making dirty tacos from a mix, I want all the garnish to be minced properly and all the rest of that. It's just how I roll. But there's generally considered to be a list of very tough dishes. One of them is consomme. I make a killer consomme. I love it. Turducken is very difficult. That's a turkey stuffed with the duck, stuffed with the chicken. And if you know how to bone out an entire bird without breaking the skin, which is just simply a technique of rolling back the skin as you bone it, rolling back the meat in the skin as you bone it, it's a very easy thing to do. Béarnaise and hollandaise sauce and all of those emulsified or liaised egg dishes, egg sauces, I'm really good at. Baked Alaska. Baked Alaska is super easy. I don't know why it's on everyone's list of toughest dishes to make, but it's alternate layers of a sponge cake and ice cream. And then I just coat the whole thing with Swiss meringue and torch it, easiest thing in the whole world, and then pour some 151 or Kirsch and light it on fire. Croissant. And this is, I guess, the real answer to the question. The entire world of laminated pastry is something that I just can't do. Well, I don't do it. I've chosen not to do it because it frustrates the shit out of me. Can I say shit here? I guess I can. Souffles. Everyone's like, oh, a souffle is so easy. That whole idea of don't walk around it because it's going to make it fall is really more myth than reality. Whipped egg whites, whipped egg yolks along with your flavoring, essentially combined and put into a lined ring mold or ramekin, and you just have to make sure it's well buttered, well coated, and that the sides are smooth and clean so that the souffle can actually rise out. That's the tough part. Super easy. French macaron. The macaroons of my people, coconut, easiest thing in the whole world. Nice Jewish grandmother macaroons, nailed them. French macaron, again, is one of those things, the precision required. It's not that I can't do it in heaven, I'm just lousy at it. Beef Wellington, crush it, a great dish. I make it once or twice a year. Terrines, right? Terrines and galantines and the whole world of meat arts, I'm pretty good at too. So I don't know. I guess what it comes down to is I'm lousy at certain aspects of baking. Margaret wrote, I thought I had a baguette before I visited France. Now I need to know why I can't get a good baguette in America. Margaret, I'm sorry, I don't know where you live, but there is some of the most amazing baguettes in the world are made right here in America. Is it really that hard to make a good one here? No, it's not, but it requires a lot of precision and it requires a dedication on the part of the baker. But more importantly, it is what the market will bear. Here in the Twin Cities, we have 4 or 5 we have dozens of amazing bakeries, but we have 4 or 5 that make some of the best baguette. the equal of baguette in France. And the reason is that there's an audience for it, people demand it, and the bakers have put in the intense dedication required to make something simple perfect. And I think that's what you're alluding to now. Why is it better in Paris, let's say, than it is here in the Twin Cities? Because the people of Paris won't accept anything other than perfection. So all of the bakeries tend to make a perfect baguette. Let's be honest, writes, Korean food is having a major moment right now, and rightly so, yes. Any predictions for the next big thing? I think we're already seeing it. We're seeing it with some of the work that Gregory Gourdet is doing, that Eric Adjepong is doing, that Kwame Onawachi is doing, and many, many other chefs as well. You see Nina Compton and Eric Williams and a ton of other chefs reaching back into their own story and taking foods from Africa and incorporating them into their cuisine. I think having been, I think there's like 50 something countries in Africa. I've been to 30 something of them. The foods of, and I know I'm going to miss some here, Ghana, Liberia, Senegal, Morocco, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Egypt. These foods are amazing. And I think Africa's a huge continent. The food of Egypt is so much different than the food of Senegal. Should I reverse that for you guys? Egypt's up in the northeast. Senegal is down in the south central west on the ocean. Both are on the ocean. So they have incredible seafood. They have incredible food. The food in Egypt is mind-boggling. Go to Alexandria and you'll have some of the most incredible seafood. You'll think you're in a country that's merging Africa with the Mediterranean in the best way possible. It's amazing. And I think those countries, those are the next big things. Take your pick. Doc MD 26 said, share a cool story about Anthony Bourdain. We just celebrated Bourdain Day, which is his birthday, and sadly, a few weeks prior was the anniversary of his death. I am someone that does, I handle both in my own way. I like to post pictures in social and remind people what an amazing human being he was. I participate in honoring him in a private way with my son, but because I'm often with him at that time of year, and we started a tradition a bunch of years ago when all of that went down. My son, who worshipped Tony, wanted to do something for him, so we have a little private thing. But I hasten to tell stories because then the lead and everything is, Andrew Zimmern tells another story. There's so many people. I just turned down a request from a podcast that's dedicated to him because I felt that it was using his memory to create their own popularity. I just thought there was something smarmy about it. So I'm careful. I'm careful about it. But he loved to correct me. And I was talking about television and integrity once and maintaining your integrity on television. And Tony yanked me aside and said, remember, the day that you put your name and signed that first contract, you lost all your integrity. And his point being that you then are representing a network, you then are representing advertisers, you have essentially then sold your soul to what he thought of as the devil. But we all made that deal because there was a greater, it was a Faustian bargain, but it really wasn't. We both felt the same way, that it was while we would laugh about it, it was worth it to be able to tell these stories to the world. So I guess there you go. There's some of the story. Denise wrote, just booked a trip to the Keys for November. It's a new decade birthday trip. Congratulations. She's staying near Isla Morada. I go there almost every year fishing, but planning a couple days in Key West. Where do we need to eat in Key West? Well, I mean, there are a lot of great places to eat in Key West. If you're going to eat in one place, obviously Blue Heaven historically is it, right? It's in a beautiful little house. It's a Caribbean restaurant. It's 30 years old. It was started by people in the arts community, so it's like wild decor and stuff like that. Garbo's Grill is great. Guy Fieri made that famous. The Lobster Shack in Key West is pretty well known. Azure is a really good restaurant. Little Pearl is nice. There's a hotel there called the Marquesa Hotel, and they have a cafe inside that's just very simple and easy sort of food. What else is there? Eaton Street Seafood Market. I like it because I can get things there to eat that I then bring home. And I guess what would I include there? Pepe's Cafe is fun. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of them for you. Have you been to Guam? Gilbert writes. No, but I flew through coming out of Samoa and heading further out. Well, not American Samoa, but Samoa. I had to go to Samoa, American Samoa, Guam. I actually have a friend from Guam who lives there, and but they weren't there. Otherwise, I would have. They were away on business. Otherwise, I would have stayed a night. But I understand Guam's beautiful. Nikki writes, Fender, Gibson, Rickenbacker, or Ibanez. I have a whole bunch of Fenders and a whole bunch of Gibsons, and I'm an equal opportunity guitar player. Cam wrote, I started making my own massaman curry using tins of curry paste that I got on Amazon. Nothing wrong with that. The curry itself tastes great, but are there brands you suggest? Can I make my own? Should I? I have a tub of a red curry paste because sometimes I don't have time or run out of my own. And it allows me to make a curry in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And it's from a brand called Amoy, A-M-O-Y. And it's a lovely curry paste. The other reason that I use that is that it's a pretty decent sized tub. It's like a quart. And what I'll do is I'll take a few tablespoons, thin it with a little bit of olive oil and vinegar, a little bit of water, depends what I'm marinating. And then I will use it as a rub to kind of slather all over stuff. And the reason I like that brand is they have a lot of shrimp paste, a lot of lemongrass, a lot of macroot lime leaf. They've got the right flavors in there. That being said, for massaman curry, which is a very, very popular yellow curry from Thailand, you have to remember it's a combination of Thai and Chinese and Straits Malay food. It's a fusion dish, right? The turmeric gives it that yellow color, which is very, very important. And I think what I'd prefer that you do is make your own because it's really, really easy. Lemongrass, bay leaves, turmeric. I'm reading from my recipe right now. I do dry roasted nuts that I finish at the end. Ground coriander, ground cumin seed, cardamom, tamarind paste. Here's the other thing. Real tamarind paste has a sweet component to it that's very faint, but a sour component to it that's really crucial to the dish. But for me, it's the umami from the shrimp paste and the fish sauce. I also would encourage you to use palm sugar. If you don't have it, use brown sugar, but palm sugar is crucial to it. And it's so simple. And I make my paste, and then I put it 4 tablespoons to a little one of those little snack Ziploc bags, seal them up, throw them in the freezer. Super, super easy. EB wrote, loved your post about hot dogs. Have you ever had the vegetarian dogs at Ikea? Yes, I do not like them. That's fine. If you like them, bravo. I don't want to yuck on anyone's yum. When I'm at Ikea, I eat the regular hot dogs. I have the Swedish meatballs, and I buy like 4 tubes of the creamed roe. It's salted cream cod roe or pollock roe. It's like a cross between anchovy paste and Japanese mentai, and I eat it on crackers all the time. I mean, it's like literally my favorite thing in the whole world. I go through tubes and tubes of it. If you are what you eat, I'm 5% creamed Swedish creamed roe. David wrote, for food movies, didn't you like the menu? I guess he saw my thing. The menu had parts that were brilliant. I thought it dragged a lot. And I also thought several of the jokes were so inside that for the general population, I watched that movie with like 6 friends, several of whom are foodies. None of them know what an arpege egg is. None of them, there's a part where the sous chef commits a horrific act on a gray mat. And no one that I knew understood that was poking fun at Grant Achatz' brilliant dessert dish where he puts 75 ingredients and splatters them all over the mat at your table. And so I thought it was so inside, it kind of lost its mojo for me. Towards the end, I started to enjoy it because I liked the sort of the way it devolved. I loved getting to know the couples at the beginning, and I thought the funniest part was I wanted more of the sommelier who walked around saying, this is, an angry and vengeful wine. I mean, things like that just really made me laugh. So did I enjoy it? Yes. Was it great satire? I don't know about great satire, but it was very good satire. Would I watch it again? No. But, I liked it. Denise writes, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to get into politics. But as I've been reminded by a lot of my friends and even advisors and business people and stuff like that who I rely on to help steer my life, they said you probably get more accomplished not running for office. And I see that. I understand that. It is, our political system is something that is open to everyone to participate in, and you don't need to be a mayor or a city council person, despite the fact that I would love to be the mayor or on the city council in the little town that I live in, but probably not in the cards. Would love to have taught, well, still would. I mean, if I had to do something, I always thought I would teach art history. I have a double degree in history and art history from Vassar College. And I always thought the only reason that I got this double degree was because I was on like the 6-year plan, because I got kicked out so many times and I would go to Europe and cook for 6 months. Then I'd come back, double secret probation. I would do really well academically and then get kicked out. It just took years for me to graduate college. So I established so many credits. They said you actually could do a special thesis and blah, 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 and get this double degree program. So that's what I did. And I'm obsessed with history and art history. So there you go. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Ask me anything. Submit your questions. Please tell folks to subscribe. We need to keep the lights on here. Not for me, for the staff and the people that help bring all this to you. And we're thrilled that you have so many great questions. Have a great rest of your week.